Well, welcome back, guys. At the end of the last video I said I was going to do some maintenance on the 701, so I had to do some suspension work on it, so it needed servicing. So it's all been done now. So a mate of mine, Steve Lullum, from this area, is a bit of a guru on motorbike suspension work, so he's re-oiled them, re-gassed the shock, re-oiled the forks. It's been ready to go. So I'm going to be putting that back in. Takes a couple of hours to get it all apart. Yeah, the forks are fairly simple. They'll just slide straight through on one side. You've got to undo the brake caliper on this left-hand side. That's very, very simple to do. The rear shock is always a bit of a mission. I have the shock here in my hand. It's all been serviced, ready to go. Now to get this apart, get this out, you've got to undo this subframe. So the subframe's undone. You lift it up, as you can see here what I've done. And I've actually got my whole swing arm out because it's getting serviced. I'm getting re-greasing all the bearings. I've got some new bearings going in for the front with some new seals. Now the reason why you undo that subframe, I'll just show you. There's got this cartridge that's just here, the gas cartridge on the shock. So once you get that in there like that, it's a bit of a fiddle. It'll go straight up. You can put that in, easy peasy. But without that subframe undone, it's nearly impossible to get out or in. So now, even easier now that I've got my swing arm out. So if you're ever pulling the swing arm out to re-grease it, I will be doing the shock at the same time. Much, much simpler. I'll show you in stages, me putting the swing arm in. Okay, I'm back. Had a little bit of a hiccup with my rear shock. So what they did was when they re-gassed it, they put a valve in this section here, which is fine. It works on most bikes, so you can re-gas it easily. But the problem is on a Husky 701, if you have a look on the fuel tank here, on this, it was hitting against this section of the fuel tank, so I couldn't lower my subframe down. So anyway, it's all back together again now. Shock's been re-gassed and re-oiled again. I've got the front forks back on and fitted, so she's right to roll. So I'm going to put the swing arm back in and the shock back on. I've got the swing arm back here now. As you can see what I've done, so I've got new bearings in the swing arm pivots, so all brand new, all cleaned up, plus I've got the linkages, which is here, all been re-greased. So I'm going to put it back together again this afternoon. I'll show you how that all goes together. Right, first things first, shock's going to go back in. Pink, there you go. That's there. I'll get that ready for a second. I'll stick that there. I'll just see if I slide that shock up. Put my glasses on, so I'm blind. That. It's got a torque screw on the end of her. Voila, shock's in. Okie dokie, nice and tidy. That's an auxiliary external power source that I have. Run my compressor and just plug it in there in case you get a flat tyre, so I don't have to go looking for the battery. It just sits there nice and neat there. I'll pull this apart. I can go there. That's right out. You'll notice this shaft that runs through the engine here that holds the swing arm on, it's got a chamfer at one end. Okay, so whichever end you're going to go from, as long as that chamfer is on that end, so it helps slide through, but you're going to have to tap it. Okay, so I always like to put a bit of grease in there. Just flush it up, see what that's like. That was pretty easy. That shaft's coming out this side. Voila, swing arms in. We'll go with that. So it's pretty simple. Once you get set up, just make sure you put that chamfered in edge first, and away you go. Lowering link, thread lock on it. So that's the bottom of the shock. That's done. We'll leave that on. Give you a bit of a gander over here. Now, obviously, this has got to come out. That'll end up flush later. That'll end up flush over there. This is all done up. Shock. So now that will slide into there, and we can start doing it all up. So you'll see that this has come on this side, so that'll come in there like so. I'll bolt that up in a second, show you how it's all goes together when I pull the swing arm down. Foot pegs are put in, they're all done. Double check all your bottom of your shock down here, make sure that's all done up. Linkages are all done, ends done. Double check everything for your foot pegs. So we're all good to go. Make sure this is all clear. I have got an auxiliary fuel line on mine, so now it's ready to drop the swing arm down. Okay, so, oh sorry, not swing arm, the subframe, which is the fuel tank. Okay, I'll just stick this video back there. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. I'll hold it up with my hands here, and then I'll slide that down. That's ready to go. Double check that. Fuel line's good. Fuel line's good there. Once the fuel line's all, make sure it's all in if you've got an auxiliary. It's only a matter of this shaft now. And that's done. Okay, so that's how you put the swing arm back in. There, pull the shock out. Well, that's the 701 done. Sparkling out in the sun. There's a new chain and sprockets. That was the last thing we had to do. So bring a new RK chain on there. Got a brand new sprocket on there, 46. I've gone back to standard. I was running a 47. Got a 15 tooth front on it, but also there's enough room in there with this. I can spin this around to put a 16 tooth on it if I need to do some longer runs. Anyway guys, like and subscribe if you enjoyed any of this information that I've had on the 701, and hopefully we'll catch up in the next video. Bye for now.